Oh, well, hello, good afternoon, Friday afternoon at that. So I hope I'm on. Looks like, looks like I'm showing up on Facebook anyway, so that's good news. I'm trying to find my mouse here. And today, Friday, May 28th today. So Friday afternoon, 2:30. My name is Todd Rains, here to join us. I didn't get my hair chromed. I'm a bit of a shambles today. But we are live on Facebook and YouTube, so hope you can join me, and we'll take a look at what we're going to do today. I do this every Friday. This, I think, is the 5th week, so maybe 3 more weeks in this series. So stream to Facebook and YouTube Live at the same time. And this series is all about, there it is right there, shop tips and jigs series. So I think we end in the 3rd week of June, so we'll see how that works. I've got a few people joining here, so let's say hi to Lowell again. Thank you, Lowell. Good to see you too. Thanks for coming in. And Douglas Grissom. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate you joining in. And Philip from overseas. Evening, Philip. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. And so, yeah, that's... why is that like that? I got... that's interesting. I got it backwards. I got my monitor switched around backwards, so I'll have to fix that in a second. So it's kind of throwing me off. Henry Morgan, thank you for joining. Henry, I know you've been on before, but I can't remember where you're from, so I know most everybody else. And Nick, good to have you here. Nick Bertram from down in San Antonio. Doing good. Thank you very much. Appreciate the good. My volume's okay. The mic's too close to my mouth. I'm not quite sure. So I have noticed in a couple of the demos I've done and watched the recording back, my volume might be a little high, but let me know if I'm too loud. But otherwise, we'll keep going. So, Michigan, thank you, Henry. I appreciate it. It's good to have Michigan friends here. So, John from Norway, thank you for joining, John. And people might see that they see the little icon in the corner. Shows whether you're from YouTube or Facebook. And since it says Facebook user, John is joining on the Woodturners Retreat page, I believe. So I'm streaming to Woodturning Tool Store Facebook page and Woodturners Retreat Facebook page. And when you're on the Woodturners Retreat, there's some privacy rules with having groups or page. I can't remember which one it is. And so it comes across anonymous. So it's good if you're on there to put your name in there like John did. Thank you for joining from Norway. That's very good. Let me quickly do a couple of things, housekeeping things on my end here. I do have to switch around my outputs a little bit, so bear with me just a quick second. That's better. And one more. And I'm just... there we go. Okay, so last week we right there, yeah, that's the right one. We looked at threading. We put some wooden threads. Do I have those still out? Yes, I do. We will go to the overhead. Let's do that, and let me go down in the corner. So we threaded this little block of beech, and it was a lot of fun to do. Fairly easy to do. So there's my spindle is 1 1/4 by 8, so this is 1 1/4 by 8. It's using this big spindle, tap, the size of the spindle. So we did that last week, and with this kind of block, you can do multiple things with, and so we're going to carry on, and we're going to turn this into a sanding disc. It's fairly simple and straightforward from there, obviously, but that's what I had on the agenda. And if we're going to finish that probably pretty early, so we can certainly take questions and talk talk about other stuff. So if you have anything, any tips and stuff, so we got another person on Facebook. Hi from Nova Scotia. Oh, good to have you here from Nova Scotia. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. So like I said, if you got something you want to kind of share as either as a use for threading a wooden block or as as another shop tip or jig, just post it in the comments and we'll put that up there. What else have people used these for? So let's take a look at that, because I'm not sure what else. I didn't really have a lot else planned today, so we'll just kind of wing it after we get through this little part. So these taps, I get them from the Beal Tool Company here in the U.S. There's probably other sources in Canada and across the pond. So take a look at those. They're relatively inexpensive, $30 or just under for those. Very useful item. The smaller one is 1x8 from a mini lathe that I bought first, and then I bought this one when I got this lathe. So that live stream, by the way, that past live stream is on my YouTube channel. Not that one. Okay, let me transition over to my web page just to show you where they're at. So if we go up to, and I gotta get over there. There we are. Sorry, wrong place. If we come down to Explore Woodturning, then you'll see the live stream, All Things Woodturning. That is where I kind of archive. You can actually watch the live stream here. So there I am in progress. We're kind of getting a picture-in-picture sort of thing, so it's kind of weird. But if you scroll down, you'll see the series that we're doing today and the next few weeks. So today is the sanding disc. This is the 4th in the 8 series. Sorry, so I thought it was 5th, but it's the 4th. So 4 more to come. And then the previous ones are here. So this one is, if you watch this back, it's the YouTube version of it. You can go and find it on Facebook too. But there you can see how we did the tapping of wooden threads. So you can watch that one back anytime. So yeah, so that's where to take a look at that. So what we're going to do, and the other feature I should show on this is this recess here. It fits around, and I didn't get this set up, but we'll do this. So there's I'll come back this way just a little bit and zoom in a little bit. And I screwed this up, so let me just turn that off. Move it by hand for a second. This little collar around here, this part here, so we got the threads, we got down to the insides of the threads, and we got this little collar. That's what this little recess gets around, so when I thread it on there, it's going to sit nice and flush against the bearing plate of the spindle, which is this big guy here. So you have to do that recess to get around that if you're going to go all the way through. As I said last week, I do have sanding discs that I use that don't go all the way through. So this bottoms out actually on the end of the spindle, and it runs true as ever. So either way will work, but you got to bear down on something, either this face or this face. So so what are we going to do and let me just I am going to set this up. Bear with me a quick second. More technical thing. Oh, well, it's far enough. We're going to travel along. Let me just oops, not tight, wide. Get a little view of the lathe. I'm just setting the camera slider. I should have done this before, but I was dealing with an update to my Apple phone, which is my camera 3 tailstock camera, and it hasn't come back up yet. So right now, let's see. Will it? Bear with me and see if it works. It might this time, but we do have another camera shot, so not a big deal, but this is mostly what we're going to look at over here. So No, this isn't. Just does not want to work. I may have to downgrade my phone. Okay, back to the subject. So let's look at how we're going to turn this block into a sanding disc, and many other things you could use it for. So let me just tab back to my comments and stuff. Let's see. We've got Gaetan from Belgium. Oh, well, good. Thank you to. Hopefully, I'm saying your name right, Gaetan. Yeah, I think so. Oh, we got a good worldwide audience today. That's good. I appreciate you joining. So, let's. The first thing we're going to do is sand this down a little bit to get a nice flat face. So I will, since my tailstock camera is not working, we'll switch to this one. This is sort of a wide shot, and I think I may have to just bring that in a little tighter. Right about there. That should be good. Let me fix that. Focus a quick second. Okay, there, that should focus nicely now. So I'm going to thread this on the wrong way. Let me put it on the right way. I've got to get that recess on the inside. And lock that on. And then what we're going to do is I've flattened this fairly close to true with my gouge. And let's see if we can. So we got that fairly true. I did a little bit of sanding just in prep for today, but to get it nice and flat, I did have a bit of a shallow in here. If we take a pencil and just this is the part of the hypnosis therapy, right? So we'll take that, and then where'd my sanding block go? There it is. So I've got one of these sanding blocks. It's this is called the Prep and Weapon. I had this for years. I use this a lot with woodworking and stuff like that. But it's a flat block that holds sandpaper. This one's kind of convenient because it takes the exact width. You get 4 widths out of a piece of sandpaper, and it clips in spring-loaded clips and stuff. So, and then I'm going to pull up my dust collection and turn that on. So that's sucking air in there. And then we'll just sand away until all the marks are gone. And I'm using 80 grit paper here. So that worked fairly well. I'll just do a couple of swipes across the grain just to kind of get the... So I don't want anything really finer than that. 80 grit, I think, works well. It'll leave some tooth in the wood for the glue to stick. So that's simple enough. The other thing I did is I just kind of eased the edges, eased the corners with a bit of sandpaper, a little scrap piece, and sanded those down just so they're not sharp. We don't want those too sharp and stuff. So that's prepped. Now let's take a look at sandpaper and how we're going to stick that on there. Put the platform back up. Go back to overhead. Oh, that does stick on very well. So we're going to make sure we get the right side. So this side's down, so we're going to get this surface. One thing I'll show is my sandpaper and how I organize it. I don't know if it's going to be too tall for the camera. Let's see if it focuses. And let's get a wider shot. So one of these fan fold sort of filing things, I just put sheet sandpaper in here from 40 grit all the way up to, I don't know, 1200. So ignoring the letters and just using it that way. So that works well. I've got a sheet of 80 grit paper here we'll put on there. I think 80 grit on this disc would be fine. And it's just regular aluminum oxide paper. So there's that. This is paper I've got for a long time ago, Canada Sandpapers. Moved down from Canada years ago. So we'll just, pick a corner and glue some down there. What I'm going to do is probably spray this surface and just stick it down, clamp it down, and then cut it out with a knife. And I'm going to use some spray glue, which I have in the cupboard over here. Is this the right stuff? This will work. And then I do want to get, I really don't want to get glue on that surface, so we shall use a piece of sacrificial cardboard. These are great, so U.S. Postal Service is kind enough to give away boxes, so these make great sort of scrap surfaces. I think the other side, I've got oil and paint on it, so I use these quite a bit for this kind of stuff. Also, I use these to ship product out, so that works as well too. So yeah, we're just going to actually spray this and then glue it down. I may spray both sides, kind of like, this isn't, what am I using? I'm using Loctite High Performance High Initial Tack. I don't know if this one says to spray both sides. I'm not going to read it. I don't think it's going to harm anything if I do. But sometimes I've had, the spray come out just a little spotty in places, so that's why I sometimes tend to glue both sides. So I'm just going to kind of make a wide berth here on my mark just to say where I want to glue on there. And then we'll trim it later. So I'm going to glue this side. And this section here, we'll spray. Let's see, anything coming up? No, don't see anything. So if you have any questions or any shop tips and jigs of your own, if you'd like to kind of share or discuss, just throw them in, we'll talk about them. I would love to see some content for you guys and some questions, or if anything we can work out together. Maybe you got solutions that work for you. Share those with the team. That'd be great. Just working on this. It's a little glued up. That's sticky spray. Okay, just going to move one of the cameras out of the way. See how it comes out kind of gloopy? And I get a little buildup on the nozzle. I think maybe I have to hold it a little bit more horizontal. Now it's completely stoved up. My nozzle is clogged. Bear with me. Yeah. Nope. Well, this project may just not get completed. I didn't anticipate an issue with the spray glue. Last night Wednesday night, I was doing a Zoom demo to a club up in the Pacific Northwest, and Zoom crashed. And so we got all kicked out of the Zoom meeting and a few times, and ended up splitting the meeting into two. I was in part of the same meeting with 8 people, and my co-host and other people were in the same meeting in a different Zoom meeting, I guess. I don't know how that worked. Well, 24 people, so we all had to drop and rejoin. Took about 25 minutes to straighten it all out, but it was a Zoom outage, and those things you can't ever anticipate or prepare for, so it was kind of a scramble. But it's important to have the phone number of the person you're working with, so you can contact them when things like that happen. So I don't know if this is going to work. It looks like my nozzle broke. I think maybe that's the problem. Well, don't think I have any of maybe the other glue. I don't know if I have it still. I do have a little bit left. This is 3M multi-purpose adhesive. So we'll go with this. A little bit of pressure on that for a little bit of time. Hopefully that works. Hopefully we won't get too many lumps with the other glue we had on there. The other way to do this is with double stick adhesive. Sorry, not double stick adhesive. Double stick tape I was thinking of, but Velcro or hook and loop fastener. So I bought a pack of this last year, and you get some nice 2-inch rolls of each side. I think it was on Amazon. You can find it there. But that's great stuff. I've got that, working quite well with a bunch of things, and that'd be another way to go, is to have turn a nice 6-inch or 5-inch disc and use those 5 or 6-inch Velcro backed adhesive sanding discs. That would do the trick. So a little X-Acto knife, and we'll just kind of rough cut. That's why I wanted the cardboard underneath to kind of. And this is moving on me a little bit. Yeah, I think I've hooped myself a little bit with that. This may be a failed project, yeah, because it moved on me as I was cutting it, but we'll just kind of make it work as best we can. Spin that around. And we'll keep pressing that down. This would be a good time to have a clamp on it with some tailstock pressure. That might work. So, okay, we've got some comments. What is Lowell asking? Lowell, have you made a table to sit on the lathe ways and act as a table next to the sander? Oh, yeah, like a platform that goes in the banjo? Yeah, I have. I've got it over there. I'll pull it out in a second. I wonder if I can stick this down and put something on it. I have a heavy... Do I have a block of wood around, do you think, to act as a weight? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So while that's drying, let's carry on. And that's a good question, Lowell. So let's let's do that. Show you what I've got. So we'll bring out this other disc, and here's another sanding disc. And then, if I can get it around from the back of all this stuff, here's a sort of a table. And I do have these sort of guides on there because I was using this as a slide for a Dremel tool or a drill. I have the plate somewhere over there that I can, has a band clamp on it, and I can clamp down some sort of tool. So let's set that up and see what that looks like. We'll use the bigger one just because. This bigger one has the same poplar kind of block that is stopped. It's not all the way through. So this surface has to be, doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, but it's going to bear on the inside here against the end of the spindle. So let me tighten this up a little bit. And as I get my camera crooked, I did. There we go. So you can see, well, you can't quite see, but if I go over here, you can see it doesn't bear down on the end there. It's hitting the end of the spindle. But it still runs fairly true. This one's not quite as true as the smaller one I have, but still works well. And then this is just a 1-inch dowel. It gets beat up a little bit with the quick clamp there, but that will go in there. And what I might do is, if I'm sanding something, I'll turn it this way and bring it up. And I will try and usually find the center and get right on the center line. So let me show that from the other angle. So I'll raise here. I can see the center of the spin is right there. So I'll raise this table up to come right at center line. You can hear the tick, tick, tick of a little piece of paper that's coming loose on this one. But yeah, that works fairly well. This isn't the stablest platform, but it does great for pens. If you're doing pen blanks, just trying to find a little scrap piece of wood that I might sand. If you're doing pen blanks, then you can square this up with a little square. Where's my, the wrong drawer. And where's my little pocket square? A little pocket square. And just square your, well, that did pretty good there. Square that up to the sanding block, lock everything down, and you're sanding. I'm a little close to center, so if I look here, I'll be sanding on the upswing. So I really need to pull my banjo over to the full downswing area of the sanding block. So let's line that up again. Back it off a little bit. It's time for some more bedway maintenance. I gotta oh, this is just nudging me. That looks pretty good. Nice and square. And now we're completely sanding on the downstroke. So. Of course, I would have my dust collection pulled up. How exciting. So that works really well. And then, squares up your pieces fairly well. I don't know. I mean, that looks reasonable to me, at least for woodworking. And then, of course, keep handy around your sanding a little block of crepe or sanding cleaner, and clean your sanding blocks with it that way. It's usually a little tricky to do it with the block in the way, but it just cleans up the sandpaper. And I've had this. Well, I put this sheet on fairly recently, maybe 6 months ago, but otherwise they last a while if you keep them clean and stuff. And avoid the resin or pitchy wood. So good question, Lowell. Philip says, I sometimes use self-adhesive Velcro on my wood discs, the hook type, so I can attach Velcro back to abrasive. This means I can switch the abrasive grade. Yeah, that's a great idea. And I think I'll probably end up doing that with the second block I tapped. Because I have a bunch of, let me take that down, 5.5 or 5-inch sanding discs for like a orbital sander that I really haven't used since the flat work days. And so I'd like to utilize those. So I'll probably end up making a disc that size with Velcro on it. And so I can reuse those ones. And then, maybe a bigger one. I don't know. I have to see how expensive Velcro-backed sanding discs are and stuff. But this works well. I usually use these kind of things for like squaring up blanks or truing up bottoms of things. I have found, I'll put this back, the little square, that I do use the 3-inch, 2 and 3-inch discs, typical wood turning sandpaper discs that are Velcro backed on the spindle of my lathe, but with using my handle system, which kind of is a bonus use of that tool. So I'll show that quickly because I like that. Steve says, good to have you here, Steve. Thanks for joining. I like the Velcro so I can change grits. Yeah, so do I. Just getting grit paper in this size is a little difficult. How big is this one? It's a good question. I always never really know. I think it's around 8.5, 9 inches. Yeah, 9. So people may ask, well, how'd you get 9-inch wide sandpaper? Because it's, obviously 9 inches wide both ways, right? So this was some of the Canadian manufactured paper, or A4 size, that is going to be a little bit bigger than the standard 8.5 by 11. Although sandpaper sheets I'm seeing are, slightly different sizes here to there. So it's interesting. So this is what I do for sometimes with my my sanding. I've got, I'm not putting a chuck on, I'm putting this adapter on so I can use the adapter. Let me see if I can. Nope, I gotta get the wrench. There we go. I realize not everybody's going to really have or understand why I'm doing this, but this is something in my shop that I've come across, and those of you that have this modular handle system. My microphone cord is bugging the heck out of me today. I brought 3 hex wrenches out from the store to out here, and I keep losing them. So this modular handle system is made of 4-inch tubes do I have? All right, they're all over here. Eight-inch tubes with obviously different adapters on them and stuff. Let me get one with connector on it. So that's the 5/8 adapter, but on the other end, has a connector that comes on and off. It's threaded both ends. All this is threaded 1x8, so you can make a 4-inch handle, an 8-inch handle, a 12-inch handle, a 16-inch handle, vice versa, or on and on it goes, right? So, but what I've found is if I take the 4-inch handle and stick it on here, and what I need actually is my little interface. I have a little wooden disc here that needs to go on there. Just take up space because my depth of thread here isn't quite as long. Now I can take my sanding pad, whether it's Velcro backed or this Rolock style, stick it on there. And now I've got a sanding pad here. So now I can, in fact, I got these bowls I turned for this demo, what just flashed there. Something on my monitor just flashed. But now I can sand my bowls this way if I've done them after the fact or if I'm sanding after the fact. So that's one handy way to kind of start sanding on the lathe with pads like this and reusable ones, so we can take that off and put on the next one, next grit whatsoever. 2-inch pads, and then you can get the 3-inch pads. Even though I've got a 2-inch adapter, it still works just fine, gives a bit more gives the other way. So that's handy, and that's obviously a unique solution to this handle system. So that's something to think about. At least I discovered that in the I'll show you the other one I did and I do this showing my why is that going in there? There we go. Take that out. I discovered this in prep for one of my project demos I do, and it is putting Velcro on an 8-inch section of tube, right? So now this goes on there. You've got Velcro. Now you've got, I use this Abernet. That's way too wrong. I think I've got that. There we go. Now you got a great disc sander or drum sander. So that works well. Let me find a stick of wood. I have, I don't have it in there. Bear with me a second. I know I have something I want to try to show, and yeah, there we go. That took a while. Back again. So my spatula demo, when I'm shaping the spatula face, of course I need to turn that the other way, so it's drawing away from me. Turn this on, Of course, this would be all turned spindle-wise, cut on the bandsaw, and then I usually have the tailstock because that's going to round out on me because it's going the wrong way. Makes a great drum sander. And of course, if you do go the right way, put it underneath. You see that works fairly well. So those are some on the lathe sanding ideas. Let's see. What do we, Lowell's got something else. Have you developed a jig to attach a router, drill, etc. to the ways so you could do, for example, cut flutes in the bowl? I have not done that directly, Lowell. This little stand I showed you, stick that back up there. Actually, that's got to go. There. I'll show you what I've done with this. And let me take this off. This adapter changes it from 1 1/4 by 8 to 1 by 8, which is the thread size and pitch of my handle system. If we put this sanding disc back up, just pretend it's a turning. Then we put this back in. I'll leave that about center height. What I do have, and I'll have to see if I can dig it out. Hopefully it's fairly close here. There it is. Kind of crude, but it works. There's a little jig, and I've got to wax it up and slides in there. Things have moved a bit, and things aren't quite as square as they used to be. But slides in there, and I can use the indexing system. In fact, I'll do that. Just maybe something. This may be going into the week 8, the TBD or to be announced sort of jig section. Take this off. We will put this on. This is my indexing wheel. One of them I've made. I bought another one, and that will go on there and capture between that and a chuck. Let's just throw in this guy since I have him here. So if I had a bowl in this thing, then I have this up. That would be set at whatever height, so the drill bit or whatever is in here. My head is in the way. Let's go on that side. Would be pointed right at whatever rim. I think it mostly goes this way, but it's not fitting in there. Very tight fit. Yeah, it's not sliding. So it'd be fit in there so it slides. I'll just lay it up here and slide in and out. And you do drilling. I think I did plugs. I think I did something else. But I'd need a cross slide going this way on this sort of thing to create flutes, or have the jig out here with the vessel running out here, with the router going this way, sliding on this thing. We had a club demo from a guy named Jeff Seltzer. I can't remember. Back in October, and he. I just realized my face is getting covered up mostly. He had a fairly extensive sort of table system on his lathe with a router and being able to follow the a nose guide on his router and stuff like that. So that's something you want to look up. Jeff Seltzer, I think. I'd have to look it up. But that was a good demo. Lots of things you could do with that. Philip says, I use a drill chuck, the type on a cordless drill held in wood turning chuck to hold the sanding arbor. Okay. Yeah, so a Jacobs chuck in the headstock, that would work too. There's something to be said about doing that. Something I gotta say anyway. That works well. You just have to be careful you're not gonna pull the Jacobs chuck out of the headstock, because it is a taper fit. Is that what you're talking about, Philip? So I'll show that the way I would do it, or I haven't done this very much at all. So here's two. There's Jacobs chuck 1, and it's over on the bench. Jacobs chuck 2. So I have this cord is bugging me. I have 2 here. One is a keyless chuck. This one, I use this for certain things, mostly metal machining. I don't really like it too much. It tends to slip a bit more than I want to. So I've dedicated it to some of this stuff I'm doing. And here's the one I use mostly. And they're both number 2 Morse taper. The difference is this one's got a pinched end on here, and this one's got a thread. So if I'm to use that in a headstock, I'll use that one and use a drawbar, which goes through the headstock, and it's in there. I can feel the end of it. So the end of it is in there. So it's going to go through the headstock like that, and then thread onto this guy. So that's what I'm going to do. So there, it's captured the threads there, and so now if I tighten up the other end, it's not going to fall out of the chuck. See, if I pull on that, I haven't tightened it all the way, but there's no way that's going to fall out. So that's the way I would do that if I was to use one of these in the headstock. I know they're relatively safe if you're just sanding on them and you're pushing this way on a sanding pad here. That's fine. But if you're using this to hold wood and you're cutting on it, use a drawbar for sure. So let me show that whole assembly again here. So drawbar is simply, it's threaded, all thread or threaded rod. I've just got this plastic tubing on it just to protect it a little bit, protect the threads. Some threads exposed here. On this end, I've got a little wooden cone center that centers in the hole of my headstock bore on the handle side. And then a couple of wing knobs. The reason for 2 is when you're turning if you only had one and you tried to turn the threaded rod, you couldn't turn it because it would just, the rod wouldn't turn, the wing knob would turn, or vice versa. So you take a second one and you tighten up it against it, and now you can tighten those two together. Now you can turn the threaded rod, and that will tighten into whatever's on the other end. So, and to unloosen it as well, or take it out, if you just had one, again, you would just end up unscrewing the wing knob. But if you have 2, you can lock them against each other and undo it that way. So that's why I ship these with two wing knobs, the cone center and the tubing, things like that, for use with my LEO drives, which are, that one is not threaded, but these get threaded in the end. And there's one. There's the one I use. So these are threaded in the end. These are Morse taper devices, and I would use a drawbar on that as well if I was using these 3 holes as a faceplate. So this can be used as a faceplate, but really only if you got it attached with a drawbar. Oh boy, that's good. Good questions. Good questions. Let me put that back up there. So yeah, that's drill chucks work. Jacob's chuck would be a useful tool. Put that back where it goes in there. And let's see if that guy is dry. Looks like it's stuck down, so I'll put that on there. So what I would have done is glued this slightly oversized and then come with a skew or pointy tool and trim it to size. So get that. I think my skew is over here. And this is a skew I don't really use that often. I use it mostly for scraping. And I have safety glasses here. So a little point there. Sparks flying, dulling my tool. It's just taking the point right off, but it should have trimmed that paper around. No, not really. So that didn't work so well. But that's probably what I would have done. Maybe trimmed it with a knife blade. That's all there. That's the piece we want. It's got glue all over my blade now. It isn't quite dried. Still kind of tacky, but c'est la vie. So there we go. Philip had some more. Let's see. No, it's the chuck off an old drill. Then it's held in the normal turning chuck. Morris taper could work loose. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you took it off a drill, so it probably has a shaft on it or something you can clamp into the chuck. That definitely works. Yeah, excellent. So yeah, send me a photo. That'd be good to see. Absolutely. Thanks, Philip. Appreciate it. And then let me just get over top of the comments here. Cindy says, "Hi, Todd. Almost missed the whole thing. Good deal that it's on Facebook and YouTube for viewing later." Yes. Yeah. Thanks for joining, Cindy. Appreciate it. And yeah, like I said, people, it is not there. That's the far camera. There. It's on the web page. There, so you can always go to the website, and I gotta go up there and view all the past ones. They're all there. Goes on for quite a ways. There's all kinds of videos from when we started. In fact, I think the one with Cindy is on here still. There's me and Mike, and there's me and Cindy. I was one of the first ones way back a year ago now. Can you believe it's a year already, Cindy? It's crazy. Oops, I got, yeah, May 20th last year. That was fun. We'll have to do another one. There we go. But that's Explorer wood turning under live streams. So, oh my Lord, I am, it's hotter than I thought it would be out here. So let's see that one. That there. I think I am, did I finish everything I wanted to show? I think so. Even better to find it on your website. Yeah. So let's check it out there. It's easier to find all this. At least I put subjects on top of each video on the website, so you can kind of see if it's, if it's the wooden tapping a wooden block, or if it's in the small project series you can find, whether it's the candlestick or whether it's the honey dipper. Just look at the title above the video. So I don't do that when I did that for one series on posting the title into Facebook, but it was a lot of work. So I just do it one place here on my website. Wow. Yeah. Fast year indeed. I know it's been crazy. So it was definitely a lot of fun. So, 15:25, 3:25. So, I am at the top of the hour pretty much of the live stream today. Before I go, I've always got to do this. This is join me next week at 2:30. Still continuing shop tips and jigs. That's what it is. I have to look at the prompt to see. And so back here next Friday, and 4 more Fridays to go through June. Also, check out Woodturner's Retreat. I am streaming to Woodturner's Retreat page, as well as my Facebook page, as well as YouTube. So check that one out. We're doing another Woodturner's Retreat event end of July. And as always, send me your questions and answers. If you don't send me the answers, I won't be able to answer the questions. So so that helps. And Philip was good about that today. So appreciate and Lowell and Steve and all your input. Look forward to that from everybody to kind of chime in and get a community of questions and answers going. So that is all I got today. Like I said, be back next week. And for that, that's it for me. 2:30 Todd is signing out from Allen, Texas. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend and take care, everybody. Bye for now.